If you use a sewing machine, you're going to be dealing with bobbins. I know this sounds way simple, but we can actually mess up loading up a bobbin. The good news is that doing it the right way is easy. If you have an old or lower priced machine, you might have one of these stand-up bobbin systems. This one's brand new, and it does work a bunch better than the old ones did, but you can mess this up pretty easily. This is the housing for the upright bobbin system, and the bobbin itself goes inside. This plate on the outside of the case is what regulates the tension on the bobbin thread. And as with every bobbin I've seen, the thread comes off of it in a counterclockwise direction. When we install a fresh bobbin, we have to run the thread up and under this plate and pull it so it's coming out in that slot. That's all pretty simple, but people do mess this up, so take your time. This is a modern lay-down bobbin system, and it works a ton better. Thread also comes off in counterclockwise motion, but we just feed it underneath this little arm, hold a little tension on the bobbin, and pull the thread around, and it cuts off at the right place. And that's really all there is to it. Put the cover back on and you're ready to go sewing. While this system is nearly bulletproof in operation, we do have to load the bobbins right. Older machines had a clutch handle built into this handle that we had to loosen up to shut the needle off so it didn't go up and down while we were loading the bobbin. On most modern machines, we just click the bobbin loading spindle over and that shuts off the needle all by itself. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes, but there are differences in the style of bobbins. To me, the best plan here is to use the bobbins they say to on this machine. Bobbins are cheap, and eventually you're going to have a whole bunch of them. The diagram shows that we need to wrap the thread around this tension washer so that the bobbin gets loaded correctly. This plastic eccentric lets you adjust how much thread actually goes on the bobbin. Turning this eccentric changes how soon it contacts the thread as the bobbin's winding. I usually stop winding the bobbin thread when it's about 1/16 of an inch from the outer edges of the flanges on the bobbin. I think that's about right for most kinds of sewing that I know of, but you can play with this and change it a little bit. Bobbins have 1 or 2 holes in the flanges, and we insert the thread through there to begin winding. While still holding that tail, we put the bobbin on the drive spindle and then push it over towards the stop. We hold on to that tail and wind the bobbin until we get a couple layers over where the tail goes into the bobbin. That locks the thread onto the hub of the bobbin, and we can trim off the excess tail. I don't get real fancy here, I just use the scissors and cut it off as short as I can. We just don't want enough of a tail hanging out that could get caught up in something. Then we just step on a speed pedal and watch as the bobbin gets filled up. You can wind bobbins using a lot more speed, but I'm just not in that big a hurry. I don't actually use that stop very much, I just stop winding the bobbin when the thread gets about 1/16 of an inch from the outer edges of the flanges. When you think you got enough, you just stop, take the bobbin off, and cut the thread, and you can put another one on and load that one. This process goes so fast, I almost always load a bunch of bobbins whenever I start doing it. Lay-down bobbins are so trouble-free, I had to leave the presser foot up to show you what happens when a bobbin does mess up. I've never actually had a bobbin mess up in this machine unless I did something like leave the pressure foot up. If your bobbin does have a problem, do yourself a favor and rethread the machine, put a new bobbin in, and try it again. It turns out that modern bobbin systems are way smarter than we are. So, like I said earlier, if you're using a sewing machine, you're going to be winding bobbins, so you might as well take the time to do it right.